Welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're tackling youth unemployment in India.
Okay.
And why should anyone care about this? Well,
Yeah.
India has a huge youth population.
Right.
Like almost two-thirds of its 1.4 billion people
Wow.
are under the age of 35.
Yeah, that's
So that's massive potential workforce.
yeah.
They call it a demographic dividend.
Right.
But here's the thing. Youth unemployment is super high.
Yeah.
Over 22% according to our sources.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be looking at this recent report on unemployment,
Okay.
some data on government programs, and even what the private sector is doing.
Interesting.
Let's unpack this whole paradox.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? This incredible pool of young talent in India,
Right.
ready to contribute, but they're facing a real struggle to find work.
Yeah, you'd think companies would be like, India, here we come.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's a little more complicated than that.
Yeah.
So our sources point to a few key factors driving this whole trend.
Yeah, one of the biggest is this skills mismatch. The report says only about half of Indian graduates are even considered employable.
Oh, wow.
So their education isn't really giving them what businesses need right now.
It's like having all the ingredients for a cake, but not knowing the recipe.
Yeah.
You've got the potential, but the preparation's all wrong.
That's a great analogy. And the traditional education system in India,
Yeah.
it's focused on theoretical knowledge, but the modern workplace, needs a more practical, hands-on skill set.
So it's not just about the degree, but the skills to do the job.
Exactly. And that's where the problem gets even worse, because
Yeah.
even if we could fix the skills gap like that,
Mhm.
India still has this lagging job creation.
Oh, right. Our sources mention that. It's not just skills. It's
Yeah.
actually having enough jobs.
You need the jobs to be there in the first place. Exactly.
Right.
India needs something like 10 million new jobs a year
Whoa.
just to keep up with all the young people entering the workforce.
10 million.
And a lot of sectors, especially those relying on, unskilled or semi-skilled labor.
Oh, they just can't absorb those numbers.
Wow, 10 million jobs a year. That's like
Massive.
trying to fill a swimming pool with a teaspoon.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you've got the rise of automation on top of it all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Robots taking our jobs. It's
It's a big fear.
yeah, how is that playing out in India?
Well, it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
on one hand, automation can boost efficiency and productivity,
Uh-huh.
but it can also displace workers, particularly in manufacturing.
So the automation dilemma is like speeding up this unemployment problem.
It is, yeah, especially for young people just starting out.
Right.
It really raises the question, are we even preparing them for a future where tech plays a bigger role?
Right.
What skills are they going to need?
Okay, so we've painted kind of a bleak picture, but
Yeah.
I'm sure India's not just watching this happen.
No, they're not.
What are they doing to tackle this?
There are some initiatives in place. One big one is the Skill India mission,
Oh, yeah.
launched back in 2015. I've heard of that. What's the goal there?
It's ambitious. The aim is to train 400 million people
Wow.
by 2022 in all sorts of skills.
Okay.
From traditional crafts to like cutting edge tech. So one key program under this is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana,
Okay.
PMKVY for short.
PMKVY.
Yeah,
So the government's trying to bridge that skills gap.
that's the idea.
Are these programs actually working?
Well, the scale of this is huge.
Yeah.
It's a long road, but they are making progress.
Okay.
The PMKVY, for example, offers training in a bunch of different skills,
Uh-huh.
trying to align them with what the job market actually needs.
So they're adapting the recipe,
Yeah, exactly.
making sure young people are learning stuff that's actually in demand.
Right.
What about the private sector?
Oh, they're getting involved.
Really?
Yeah, it's actually pretty interesting.
Oh.
Companies like TCS, Infosys, Tata Motors, they're all launching skill development programs and internships.
So they're not waiting for the government.
No, they're taking matters into their own hands.
That's encouraging.
It is. And what's really cool is they're making these programs super specific to the skills they need,
Oh, okay.
basically creating a pipeline of job-ready talent.
It's like specialized cooking schools.
Right?
Training chefs for very specific cuisines. Makes sense in such a fast-changing job market.
Yeah.
But are these programs enough?
That's the question.
Yeah.
I mean, can they overcome the sheer scale of
What
this?
hurdles are they facing?
Well, you hit on a key point scale, and reach are big ones.
Yeah.
Remember, Skill India wants to train 400 million people.
Yeah.
That needs a massive infrastructure, and they constantly have to adapt to these new industries.
Right. The world of work is changing so fast.
Exactly.
AI, renewable energy. It's like the recipe book's always getting updated.
All the time. Yeah. And then there are challenges specific to those government initiatives.
Like what? What roadblocks are they hitting?
Well, there are some concerns about how effective some programs are,
Right.
if there are enough qualified trainers, and whether the training is really aligned with the market because it changes so fast.
Right.
It's definitely a work in progress.
What about those private sector programs? Are they facing any limitations?
You know, these programs are great. They show real commitment from the private sector,
Yeah.
but they often focus on certain fields, mostly in tech and finance.
Uh-huh.
This specialization is good, but it can also limit opportunities for young people interested in other things.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag. Progress is happening, but there's lots to do.
Yeah.
It seems like this needs everyone working together.
It does.
The government, the private sector, schools, and even individuals.
Absolutely. There's no quick fix, no one-size-fits-all solution.
Yeah.
It takes a collective effort and commitment to investing in India's youth.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to how complex this is.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really is a fascinating challenge, and you've hit on something important that everyone needs to play a role.
Right.
But maybe we can zoom out for a second and look at entrepreneurship.
Okay. Yeah, entrepreneurship is often talked about as a way to create jobs, especially for young people.
Right?
Could that be a solution in India?
It definitely has potential.
Okay.
India has like a vibrant startup scene, and there's a growing spirit of entrepreneurship among young folks.
Uh-huh.
But there are roadblocks too.
Like
And-
what? What's holding them back?
Well, access to funding's a big one.
Okay.
Getting the money to start and grow a business can be really tough.
Right.
And then there's this need for mentorship.
Yeah.
Having some experienced entrepreneurs to learn from can be so valuable.
Right.
And then, of course, you have the regulatory hurdles.
Oh, yeah.
Bureaucracy can be a real nightmare for a young entrepreneur.
So starting a business in India sounds like it's not easy.
It's not for the faint of heart.
You need more than just a good idea.
You need resilience, resources, and support.
Exactly. And that's where both the government and the private sector can really help
That's right.
create a more supportive ecosystem.
Think about policies that encourage entrepreneurship. Incubators to give guidance and investors willing to take risks on young, innovative ideas.
So it's not just saying, hey, go be an entrepreneur.
Right.
It's about actually helping them succeed.
Exactly. And if India can do that, I think it could unlock this whole new wave of job creation
Yeah.
driven by these young, dynamic entrepreneurs.
Now, you mentioned regional differences earlier.
I did.
I imagine the challenges and opportunities vary a lot across India.
You're absolutely right. India is so diverse,
Yeah.
and the unemployment situation isn't the same everywhere.
Okay.
Some states have made great progress with skill development and job creation.
Uh-huh.
Others are lagging behind.
Can you give us some examples?
Sure. Take states like Karnataka and Telangana.
Okay.
They've had huge growth in IT,
Right.
lots of job opportunities for skilled young people.
Uh-huh.
They've invested heavily in skill development programs, too.
So they're really tailoring skills to their local economies.
They are playing to their strength.
What about the states that are struggling more?
Well, states in the north, like Uttar Pradesh and Bihar,
Yeah.
they face much higher youth unemployment.
Oh, wow.
They often lack the infrastructure, the education, and the industries to create enough jobs.
So it really highlights the need for targeted approaches, doesn't it?
It does.
Solutions that are tailored to each region.
A one-size-fits-all approach won't work in India.
Makes sense.
We need regional strategies that take into account the local conditions,
Right.
the demographics, the specific skill gaps.
Now, we've focused a lot on the economic side of this.
Yeah,
But what about the social impact?
right.
It's not just jobs in the economy. It's about people's lives.
It is. You've hit on a crucial point.
Yeah.
High youth unemployment can have these ripple effects.
In what way?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the consequences?
Well, think about it. When young people can't find work, they get frustrated.
Right.
They can feel hopeless, even angry.
Yeah.
This can lead to social unrest and instability.
Uh-huh.
It can make it so much harder to improve your life,
Yeah.
to break out of poverty.
So it's like a vicious cycle.
It is.
Unemployment leads to social problems, which then further hurt the economy.
Exactly. And it can also lead to brain drain,
Oh, right.
where talented young people just leave the country.
It's like losing valuable ingredients from your kitchen.
Precisely. So addressing youth unemployment isn't just about money.
Yeah.
It's about a more stable and hopeful society.
It's about investing in India's future, both economically and socially.
Absolutely.
Now, we can't talk about the future of work without talking about technology.
Right.
We talked about automation earlier, how it can both create and destroy jobs.
Mm-hmm.
But technology can also be a tool for creating new opportunities.
Yes. definitely.
What are your thoughts on that?
It's not about fearing technology.
Right.
It's about using it strategically to create new avenues for jobs and entrepreneurship.
For example,
Yeah.
how can technology help?
Well, look at e-commerce, digital marketing, online education.
Okay.
These are booming sectors, creating so many jobs that didn't exist a few years ago.
And a lot of those jobs can be done remotely.
Exactly.
Opens up opportunities for people in rural areas.
Technology can bridge those divides,
Yeah.
connecting talent with opportunity no matter where you are.
It's like a virtual kitchen
Yeah,
where chefs from all over can work together.
I like that.
So we need to equip young people with the digital skills they need.
We do. And we need to encourage innovation in the tech space. Encourage them to create new solutions for India's challenges.
So technology can be a real ally in this,
It can.
but it requires a mindset shift
It does.
for young people and for education as a whole.
We have to embrace lifelong learning,
Okay.
be adaptable, constantly seeking new skills.
Right.
The job market of the future is going to be so fluid.
Yeah.
We need to be ready to navigate that.
It's like being a chef who's always learning new techniques, trying new ingredients, adapting to what people want.
That's a perfect analogy.
So to sum up this youth unemployment challenge in India,
Yeah,
it needs a multifaceted approach.
it does.
Addressing the skills gap,
Right.
promoting entrepreneurship, leveraging technology,
Yes.
fostering regional development,
Yeah.
and recognizing the social impact of all of this.
You got it.
It's complex.
Yeah.
There are no easy solutions.
No.
But it's something India can't ignore.
No, they can't.
Their future depends on it.
It does.
This deep dive has really been eye-opening for me.
It's been great talking about all this with you. It has been a journey, hasn't it? And yeah, you're right. It's complex, but it's so important for India's future.
For sure. But sometimes when we talk about these big issues, it's easy to feel overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, what can any one person really do?
Right.
So for young people listening, for people who support them, for educators, what can they do right now?
That's a great question. And you're right. It's easy to feel lost in all of this.
Yeah.
But what you do as an individual matters. First, be proactive.
Okay.
Don't wait for opportunities. Go out and find them.
So how do you do that? Where do you even start?
Networking is huge. Go to industry events, connect with people on LinkedIn,
Uh-huh.
reach out to those working in fields you're interested in. I know it can be intimidating,
Right.
but most people are happy to share their experience and advice.
It's like asking a chef for their secret tips.
Exactly. And speaking of recipes, think of your skill set as something you're always working on. We talked about technical skills and soft skills.
Right.
The good news is there are so many resources online to help you develop both.
There are so many. It's almost overwhelming any favorites you recommend.
Platforms like Coursera, EDX Udemy,
Okay.
they've got courses on everything from coding to digital marketing,
Wow.
even communication and leadership skills.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are free or super cheap.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's not just about courses, though. Internships are so important.
Oh, they're invaluable. You get real-world experience.
Yeah.
Think of it as an apprenticeship for your career.
Right.
You apply your skills, you learn from pros, you build your network,
Sure.
and you see what it's really like to work in that field.
And sometimes they lead to jobs.
Exactly. So build those skills network and go for internships.
Okay.
And when you're actually looking for a job,
Yeah.
tailor your resume and cover letter for each role you apply for.
Okay.
Really highlight the skills and experiences that fit best.
It's like adjusting a recipe based on who you're cooking for.
Exactly. And for interviews, preparation is key.
Yeah.
Research the company, the role, practice your answers to common questions,
Uh-huh.
be able to explain your skills clearly, and most importantly, be yourself.
Authenticity is key.
It is.
Enthusiasm and genuine interest can go a long way.
They can.
Well, this has been an incredible deep dive into youth unemployment in India.
It has.
We covered the economic factors, the social impact, the regional differences, the role of technology, and the potential solutions.
It's been great unpacking all of this with you.
Yeah.
Hopefully our listeners have a better grasp on this issue and feel empowered.
Because while the challenges are serious, there's also a lot of hope. India's youth are resilient, adaptable,
Yeah,
eager to learn,
absolutely.
ready to make their mark.
And if we give them the right support, guidance, and opportunities,
Yeah.
we can help them reach their potential and build a brighter future for India.
That's a powerful thought to end on.
It is.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been my pleasure.
We hope you've gained some insights and maybe even some optimism about the future.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning,